First of all, I'll call the meeting to order and thank you all for coming. I know that part of you is responsible as employees and members, others are volunteers, but everybody has the same objective to make things better for the university. And I thank you for being here. And hopefully we'll efficiently use the time and get on a roll here. So meeting is called to order. I know we have a quorum. And the first thing I'd like to do is ask for approval of the meeting minutes from November 20th, 2026. Julie? Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're on roll now. Okay, so we have a new member here who's going to balance the books. We have Greg Reed. Okay, the new VP, Vice President of Physical Strategy and Management. I just call it the money man now, but thank you for being here and welcome. As I told you a little briefly, I know it's going to be a challenging experience since it's a public institution and NEM, not enough money. And that's the name of the game. And so you have to balance everything. And I'm sure that you have the expertise and you're going to get a new experience here and you'll love it because it's just a dynamic university. Money's always been tight. It's nothing new here at New Paltz. There's been ups and downs and it'll be interesting and challenging. So thank you for being here. If you want to say a few words, you're welcome to say hi.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
I know later on you're going to tell us about all the red ink.
Yeah.
But now you can tell us.
That, yeah, we'll do all that over time, and for sure. Yeah, exciting challenge. Definitely a balancing act every step of the way, and I'm loving it already. So looking forward to working with the team in a deeper way and the rest of the institution. And nice to meet everyone here.
And you're only here a couple of weeks in springtime. It's beautiful. And, you know, I know you have some connection to the Northeast kind of coming up here, but it's just, you know, going to open up. And it's a beautiful place right here. Hello, Randy. How you doing? Good. So I'm going to thank you. If you make me look good, I'm usually always almost the last person and late. So if somebody comes after me, I appreciate it. So thank
I have the best excuse.
Good to see you.
Students wanted my attention.
Okay.
Yellow?
Well, okay, Liz, so you're new here, right? Okay, so you're going to shepherd the council, right? And you're going to keep us on track and give us any information we need. So I want to welcome you. How long have you been working here?
2 months now, 3 months.
December 4th.
Yes, since December 4th.
Good. Well, welcome. And everybody gets along, right? And I tell you have to keep yanking at me, reminding me because I'm old and senile and don't pay attention. So I appreciate the emails telling me that there was a meeting today. Thank you. Okay, now we have Mark McFadden standing in. Okay, and so Kathleen, did she send you baby pictures or what?
She did. Oh, yeah.
Hey, okay. So she's going to be out for a while. And how long are you going to be standing in, Mark?
Probably until August.
Till August.
6 months. Yeah, she's on, I think it's 6 months till August.
And student affairs are always well in order. They're so well behaved here.
I get my best sleep at work as well.
That's a big challenge and welcome to the meeting. And President Wheeler, Dr. Wheeler, could you give us a report, please?
All right, wonderful. So you've already introduced Greg. Just as a context, remember, he comes here from Savannah. So the temperature is just like that up here and you're asleep. So welcome. And Liz, just to note, this is a very special month for Liz. Birthday's next week, and Liz only celebrates 30 of the 31 days in March because she gives one back to her husband, right? Right. Wonderful. So a number of updates. I want to start with the women's basketball team because I know people are very interested in the experience of our students. Our women's basketball team won the conference championship here at New Paltz. It was a game won with 1.9 seconds to the, exactly. I was there and it was won on a technical in terms of the shot that was made that would have put the other team a point ahead was actually just over the clock. And they had to watch the rerun. Exactly. They had to watch the rewind like 4 times while we waited. So, and then they went on to NCAA and they won their first game and then came out at the second game. So we congratulate them. And and this is important because this is our last season in SUNY. We will go into the NJAC, the New Jersey Athletic Conference, on July 1. For those who weren't familiar with that movement, this started 2 years ago because you have to petition to get in and then you have a transition period. For the SUNY New Paltz teams, this is actually a plus for us. We're as close to New Jersey and closer than we are to some of the far northwestern campuses. And when our teams have to compete, it's like a 4-hour plus travel trip for them. And so going to New Jersey, I think the longest trip we have to make is like 3 hours and most will be within an hour and a half. And because many of our families come from Long Island, it's as easy to go from Long Island to New Jersey and much easier than it is to go up to Buffalo area. So, it's going to be still really strong competition, good athletic experiences. So we're very excited about it. Again, it starts on July 1 is when we transfer over. We had a meeting the day after our women's basketball team. And it was Bill's laughing already. It was the chancellor's meeting with the presidents in Albany. It's the last time we were going to be in SUNY. I almost brought one of the championship T-shirts to wear to the meeting. But I opted not to do such a mischievous thing. But it was just kind of a reminder that SUNY New Paltz women's basketball team, you're going to miss us. I've been on a number of phone calls and meetings lately. SUNY's very interested in optimizing the talents of the campuses and highlighting what we do in student outcomes areas. So just want to shout out things that if you haven't seen them, I encourage you to look at all the materials you'll receive from us in terms of OCM updates, daily digest, feed outs, but our Office of Veterans and Military Services has been doing phenomenal work. I don't think news is out yet, but news about the status of that program will be out soon, so stay tuned for that. Our ACE program, which is a program that supports students with financial resources to help them achieve their academic degree. Stella could tell us more about it, but ACE is in its second year here or second year on campus. Our first year, I think we started out with 27 to 30 students and we're up to over 295 students in a year. SUNY tapped us as one of those outstanding schools immediately and reinvested money. We had a celebration of those students last year, the first year, and then again this year, and the students are just doing phenomenal work. And it's just a real story about the commitment of the way resources that SUNY channels to the campuses turns immediately into outcomes for the students. Our EOP program, last week I was up in SUNY, up in Troy for the recognition for students. SUNY New Paltz has a chancellor's recipient at the EOP level. And so that's a great distinguishing feature for the alums of the EOP program, and we're proud to be there and have our students represented. Our summer honors program now going into its third summer this year. It's a program where we invite what we call for applicants who are juniors in high school to apply to us to come and spend a week with us on campus, learning more about us through the honors program. And then if they complete that program, they're pretty much conditionally accepted. And now we're tracking how many students participate in the program, how many students come, how many apply, how many come, and how many stay. So beginning this fall, we'll have 2 cohorts that have data. One cohort will be going into their sophomore year. One cohort will be newly admitted freshmen who would have come last summer, plus this year. And we're thankful to the foundation looking at ways of supporting this program for another 3 years after the initial funding is complete, so that we'll have 6 years of cohort to make an assessment as to whether or not this is a viable program for us to bring to the state ops side. Because if we're getting high yield on those students, it's a great investment because for the whole summer program, it's like $30,000 or something like that. And $30,000 investment is a great investment, right? To young
Students don't
students.
pay anything? They pay $300 and they are here for a week. They have programming for the whole week, both in the honor center and extracurricular activities. They get all their meals. For anybody who can't pay, we have options for them as well. Sometimes their school districts will pay instead of the students. So we take 37 students. Last year, we had a yield of something like it was 40% of those students who attended the program, where our typical yield is about 11% in the regular population. So, and these are high achieving students. So they actually, two of them have applied to actually participate in the program and bringing in more students. So very involved students on campus.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so because, and you'll hear more about it from our new Vice President for Fiscal Strategic Management. I'll talk about that name change in a moment, a little bit later. I want to highlight our community college work. Last week, actually a week ago today, we invited the 4 presidents from the community colleges in the Hudson Valley to campus. So, and each of the presidents themselves came. Some brought other staff members. So we had Dutchess, Orange, Sullivan, and Ulster County here. Our enrollment management team was there. Our OCM team was there. It was a great opportunity for us to talk directly about ways of increasing the yield for our community college students. And in some instances, for us to have a pipeline from this campus to the community colleges when students would do better doing the community college first, as opposed to being a 4-year student, to get them back on track. So a bi-directional. I think the program, the meeting had high yield. One of the metrics I use is that not a single president left before the meeting was over. That's always, have five presidents in the room, including myself. That's not a small feat. And so we are all committed to this being a priority. And it's consistent with the governor's call for free tuition or free access in high needs areas to the community college. It's a recognition that in New York State, at least 2 million people have some college credit and no degree. And the pipeline for folks to get the 4-year degree is very often through the community colleges. And we are the only public 4-year institution in the Hudson Valley region. I mean, the closest campuses are Albany, Purchase, and Empire. Empire is primarily, this meeting's going to end in 6 minutes. Something's wrong.
I'll ask Mike.
Okay. All right. So that means I really have to talk fast. 6 minutes. On the fiscal front, as a primer to Greg's, you'll notice, just in case people don't remember, that about a year ago, we started a process of moving and splitting the position that Michelle Halstead used to hold as Vice President for Finance and Facilities, or Finance and Administration, into 2 different areas. Scott Klein is our Vice President for Operations, who had all of the facilities and things that were not part of the direct financial. And then in the redesign of the position of the CFO, I wanted to focus on strategic financial management as the singular focus for that vice president to really help us in what is got to be one of our most important issues, and that is balancing our budget and setting us on the right financial trajectory. And that was a big portfolio to handle facilities and fiscal. And so separating out the 2, I think, has been a very important component. We're in our academic affairs, we're doing academic reviews of that portfolio. We really have to examine our programs. We have to look and make sure that our courses are seated and fully seated when we run them. It's the only way we're going to be able to get a solid handle on how we're using the resources on a regular basis. We are in state budgetary process. I think most of you who are familiar with New York government know that this is that period where the executive budget comes out, and then we have the one house processes, and then there's the integration, and finally, there's the discussions that occur between the various legislative bodies, and then we have the state budget. While we are exceedingly thankful to the governor's support for the past couple of years, nothing is taken for granted. And so we continue to work with our state electeds. We had our assemblywoman here on campus about 2 weeks ago. About 3 months ago, the chancellor was here with Assemblywoman Hendeman, who chairs the higher education body within the assembly, and she's also a SUNY New Paltz alum. We, on both instances, we toured our electeds on the facilities needs that we have, very often in most instances, showing them very scary places. And what I mean by scary, we have some capital needs that date back to 1955. That in a couple of I know, and some of you can't even say 1955, let alone think that you were even there close to it. That just goes to show you that there's some infrastructure need, and we're specifically mentioning College Shango for that. And then we have some more emergent needs. We have a very, very significant need for infrastructure to our library. The HVAC system has been on life support for a while. It is the original, and the building is 1964?
71.
68. The building is original 1968, and it has never had an overhaul of its HVAC system, and it's actually leaked into the cellar, into the basement. And when I first got here, the lower level of the library was closed. They thought they had remediated that. There was mold on the books. They discarded the books, but what we found is that the mold has come back. And there is water still leaking. It's through the HVAC system. So we have this cycle of situations where when the books get wet, we have to throw out books and the mold. And so we've had to close off sections. And so we've elevated the priority status of this because a university campus without a library cannot occur. And so we've been working with our electeds to make sure we're educating them on the priorities of these two projects, the College Shango and the libraries, along with making sure we're supporting SUNY's initiative for asking for infrastructure reinvestment at the tune of $10 billion for the entire system. We would hope that this comes to fruition because it will be very important for us to be able to secure the kind of space to allow us to continue on our journey on our strategic plan. Anyone in this room who has not had a strategic plan placed in front of them, we're happy to do one before you leave. We see one hand up, so we need to make sure that we have a strategic plan and a bookmark in place for Eleanor before we leave out of here. On that, I'm going to stop. Happy to answer questions. You'll get your financial update from our new CFO in just a moment. Happy to answer